So welcome everyone. I'm Ilgin. I come from Istanbul, and Terry Blair Foundation for Women had like some serious impacts on my initiative that I wanted to share my story with you. And I hope that it can encourage or even inspire some other women entrepreneurs as well as some people in this room so that we can help more entrepreneurs around the world. But here today, I hope I can stand for something actually bigger than me, not for just the women entrepreneurs, but also for women, mothers who choose to sustain their professional and social lives after giving birth. Because my story started with me being a mom. After 15 years in corporate life and having worked as a management consultant and strategy manager in various multinationals, I gave birth to my son, Arhan. And I loved being a mom, I loved my son, everything was great, but it was difficult, much difficult than I thought, because I was, as I used to be in the professional life, I was like perfectionist, idealist, and I really wanted to breastfeed for 2 years. And if you are a mom who chooses to breastfeed for long, and if you want to go back to work, it is actually not that easy as people think. That I realized nursing moms are actually confined into nursing rooms, or even worse, to their houses. And at this point, did you know that every year 130 million women give birth, and 43% of those quit work after giving birth? And indeed, 60% of those who quit, they regret. So when asked why do you quit, they say there's a big stigma against new moms at work. It is difficult to pump at work, and there are no maternity clothes for women in business. So I had a very, very simple yet effective idea in mind. I had some designs in my mind, and I wanted them to be produced. But then I realized being a working mom, a woman entrepreneur, was even much more difficult than being a mom. It took me 1 year to persuade the producer I wanted to work. I mean, there are so many producers in Turkey. It's a textile country. Yet, to secure a certain guarantee, you need to work with a big producer. And then they require some minimum order quantities, which is very, very difficult, let's say impossible for a woman entrepreneur. So our production costs were high because our scale was low. Reliability was a big issue because we were new in the market. And brand positioning, it was tricky, and it still is. But beyond all these, it was difficult to be recognized out of my home country. I mean, I had a very solid background, I had great connections. In Turkey, it was so fine. But out of the country, I was basically no one. And, with the currencies changing, purchasing power changing, I had to find a way out, and it was difficult. So at that moment, I decided to apply to Cherry Blair Foundation for Women in UK, and a miracle happened, which actually followed by some other miracles one after the other, and I got accepted. And I still remember the day I received the email saying, "You'll be our mentee for 12 months." And it was the same week I learned that I was one of the 50 entrepreneurs chosen by the US Department of State to be a part of the program Young Transatlantic Innovation Leaders. So the UK and the US, which were actually the two markets I always targeted anyways, it meant that I could get support for both of them. So it was like beyond my dreams. And when I was at the beginning of this program, I was confident in myself, in my cause, in my goals. Yet after so many years in corporate, hearing what to do from someone else, it was difficult to set timely goals, to track performance, to evaluate progress, to improve the business as well as myself. And this program, Cherry Blair Foundation for Women program, was such a structured approach that it put me on a solid track. And my mentor, she was like an objective judge to me, so she was asking pivotal questions. She was like providing me with clarity whenever it felt complex. And she was Indian, so she made me realize that there are even bigger markets in the world that I've never thought of.
Thank you to our population.
But I think Above all these, Cherry Blair Foundation for Women was such a rubber stamp that it's helped us start selling in Harvey Nichols, in Galerie Lafayette, in the biggest moms website of the Middle East, momsworld.com. And very recently, we signed an agreement with a 17 years old New York-based agency to start selling in US. And I believe these became possible because we were a reliable partner to them in the end, because we had this rubber stamp. And another note, all those figures I gave at the beginning of the speech, they are from the Gender Gap Report of World Economic Forum 2018. So actually, giving a speech here in World Economic Forum 2020, again, thanks to Mrs. Blair, is like, I mean, it's like beyond my dreams. So in less than 2 years, having reached to more than thousands of women, seeing my products on nursing moms, feeling like I'm getting to this dream of having Accouchee women, not just products, but a community of women who are there saying, we want to take a stance against the norm. We want to make a statement. We will nurse for long, but we will not lose our careers. We will not step back from life. I feel so proud, but I still know that being a woman entrepreneur, you can be talented, capable, ambitious, disciplined, active. You can be everything, but to the rest of the world, you are one of the many. And it really takes a special heart, maybe a devoted mother like Mrs. Blair, and a dedicated foundation like Cherry Blair Foundation for Women. So thank you for making us recognized. Thank you for making us the one among many. And thank you for believing in Accouchee, our brand, because we believe that everything starts with a strong and happy mother. And only a happy child she raises can change the world. So all you need is to believe and to join. So I want you all to join me in start changing the world by changing this idiom. Behind every successful man, there stands a strong and supportive woman. So let's rephrase it by saying, behind every successful person, there stands a supportive partner. So thank you, Onur Yazgan.